What's up, guys? It's Mr. Janvid, and today we are back on the Pokemon Showdown server, and we're going to be in episode 5 of Road to top 10, where we climb from the rungs of the ladder all the way up to top 10 in ideally under 10 losses. This thing we're going to be using today, shout outs to, well, I don't even know who builds the team, but Toast pasted and passed at the same time, but passed them to me, and so I just put Toast teams, right? So shout outs to whoever actually created it if it wasn't Toast. And yeah, before we get into it, I'll look for a battle. As we're looking, I'd like to shout out my man Ninjak. I mentioned in the last video. Homie's going through training right now, and he's in the first phase, and he's already at 1600. He said you called it, just finished the stream, and we ended at 1610. Guys, go hit him with a subscription. Great content for up and coming player, and so if you're up and coming as well, it'd be important to see exactly what he's doing as he's getting training from me, so that you can copy that from somebody who's actually doing the process, rather than just hearing me say it, close the video, do nothing. When you feel like it, hop on the ladder, get wrecked, and wonder what went wrong. So it's helpful to just actually do it with somebody who's doing it. I think that's the biggest pull of an up and coming player versus watching somebody who may not be as somebody who is more well established, because you can actually identify with that. And so he essentially started an Excel sheet, and this is the biggest part, right? He's like, what's so funny is I started the Excel sheet to strap my climbing process to show the ups and downs, but without it, he really wouldn't know how many games he lost. This mentality makes it so much fun. I always win with the hacker mentality, and hacker mentality is basically like you're always looking for data from your games. You always win, meaning if you lose the game, you use that information. If you win the game, you win the game, use the information either way. Doesn't mean because you win, you just never made a mistake, or you don't need to check that game. So Zapdos is really, really good. Shedinja is a little, I'm not too sure what to expect from it, but most of my members can shut it down except Finny. Finny's Choice Scarf, do I want it in this game? How fast? 442. Would I rather have my Choice Scarf in this game? No, I don't need it. It'd be nice for his Weavile so I can guarantee beat it, but we'll see. Zapdos is heavily defensive, very good versus his team. Volcarona, very dangerous versus his team. Probably the most dangerous thing versus his team. Weavile, so rocks. It's probably heavy duty boots. The biggest threat to me is gonna be his what? Polyrath maybe? Under if he gets a belly drum up. We'll see. I'm really not sure what to expect in this game. I mean, I think very little drawback to a actually, this is a solid decision by him. I didn't contemplate him leading Weavile, which I knew was problematic. Yeah, actually, this was a fine lead. So I'm forced into Ferrothorn. Should have decided how I want to win this game. There are a few ways. There are a few ways I can go about this, but actually, I didn't respect the maybe I don't need the scarf. Zapdos doesn't die here, but if he goes for knockoff and I stay in, yeah. See, banded. So that's banded. Yeah, I did way too much. Holy shit. Oh, that's life orb. Okay, so he's gonna knock off here, or he could triple again if he can get the hit. I just don't know if he'll knock. That's not good, because now Shedinja can, like Ferrothorn isn't scaring the Shedinja off like I wanted it to. I think you should triple Axel again, or go to Magnezone. Excellent. And so this is probably sub press if you went to If you went directly into your sub body press, which is irrelevant, oh, you actually very interesting. Curious as to what he's gonna do versus this Volk. I mean, not assuming you're flash canning, but he could Thunderbolt. He's analytic. It can't be analytic. No, he has a special attack. Where the fuck did that come from? Throat spray. Oh, I completely ignored. You know when you're just like, you're not looking for something to exist. That's literally what just happened with this. Now, Pelipper coming in. Quiver Dance is still my best play. I don't think he should have stayed in, but even if he does, I punish the Pelipper. Come on, man. Thunder? Oh my god, I'm getting crushed. I should have just killed this fucking zone, because it's really important to kill this because of my Tapu Fini's Moonblast. But I figured, well, you know, Quiver Dance, he can't KO me with Thunderbolt. But I didn't factor in Thunder. Ah, that sucks. I don't regret the Quiver Dance. Thunder just didn't cross my mind. And because he still has the Magnet Rise, I'm actually in a really awkward position. So I wouldn't be shocked if he went for Flash Cannon here. Yeah, good play. That's a good fucking play right there. Oh, yeah, I just got fucking smacked. Now we got to figure out how we're going to get back out of this. The fact that he didn't... No, he must have knew I was going to Quiver Dance. And he's just like, fuck it. Because he's like, I'm playing with house money. I already have like a bunch of... I'm not expecting to win. Or he just doesn't know what he's doing. And so he figures, well... So there's the Pelipper, which is a good play. I expected Pelipper sooner or later. Do you think it's important to keep my... Defog's hard. A Heat Wave here does go hard. Magnet. Oh, come on, dude. I have nothing for this fucking Magnezone. That's so frustrating. Now you can Flash Cannon for free. He actually thundered. I disagree with the thunder, but you know, it worked out for me. Man, that's really lame. That flamethrower miss is huge. I mean, that Heat Wave miss is huge, man. I'm gonna Earthquake here. I don't know if he'll stay in. He shouldn't have. Like, that was a really poor decision to stay in, but I'm with it, obviously. Poliwrath coming in would be the worst case scenario, but he goes to Weavile, which I'm more than happy to see, because currently my Weavile potentially could sweep him back, but I need to get a Swords Dance off. I can get it versus Pelipper. I just need his Pelipper dead. Let me think. No, my Finny's my best play. Even if he knocks, he shards though. Doesn't make sense again. The question is, do you go to your Shedinja here? Because what I really want to do is double out to my Landers. But would you just sack your Weavile? Because I don't want my Finny taking a lot of damage. I don't want him just to baton pass back out into the Weavile. We're back at square one. For some reason, I think he should switch, but for some reason, I feel like he's just going to leave this in, which is not the play. Okay, so let's think this out. Weavile coming back in. I forced the knock. He can't miss terrain. Actually, my better play here is to mid-ground a Weavile. If he baton passes, if he Will-O-Wisp Misty Terrain is up, excellent. And now we get a free knockoff here. He goes hard Pelipper, which is fine, assuming we connect the triple axle. The reason this is important is because I don't want Poliwrath getting a free belly drum. Well, actually, my play here is not to ever stay in. Because Zapdos, Roxas Zapdos wins. So I go Ferrothorn here. He actually U-turns, but that's fine by me because it prevents his Poliwrath from coming in, or so I thought. I'm going to Power Whip hard. I think he's going to Belly Drum. Please fucking hit. Thank you. Thank you, Ferrothorn. I knew he was going to Belly Drum there. Which that's the only big concern I had this whole game. I'm like, belly jump. If he belly jumps, belly jumps, blah blah blah. And so now we're dealing with Rillaboom under grassy terrain and sun, and so he's depending on his grassy glide. I can play that game too, because +1 glide won't knock me out from 51. It should not. Let me run that calc. A non-boost. Am I max defense? I'm a weird spread. I really should import these teams for road. Technically could go back to Ferrothorn and do all that stuff, but I still have a lot of luck to depend on, because triple axle has to hit and heat wave, and so there's a lot of luck. I just want to make sure that towards the end game I still win with no risks of missing, like putting myself in a position where I had to hit power whip there. What's the timer saying? 60. That's fine. Come on, I said okay. Alright, Landorus, Therian, custom set, Rillaboom, OU Swords Dance, without the life orb, +1 grassy glide does 54 to 63, kills me, which means I gotta stall out a bit of terrain. He lost a little bit of health, but you know, nothing to write home about. He actually only has acrobatics, so he doesn't have drain punch. Rain turns are stopping my Zapdos. I could see him SDing here, predicting my Ferrothorn up. Please hit. Oh boy. Again, it's not the end of the world. It's just that I don't want any kind of variance, right? For example, right here, technically Weavile sort of wins the game. Well, there's a sort of, it wins the game, but for me to win, and I mean the likelihood, Zapdos wins too, kind of. I'm surprised he sacked considering he doesn't know that I don't have Hurricane. Yeah, very odd decision there. Do I care about my Scarf? No, I don't. Yeah, now that he has no boost, I don't think he has any shot. Shit, I'm surprised he doesn't knock off ever. Everything trick. No, there's no point. I'll just Moonblast here. So yeah, it's Poltergeist. Okay, that's what it is. Because I was like, I know he has something. And so this allows us to Stealth Rock, so that Weavile can stop coming in, and then what's it called? We just win. It's a really sloppy game. I think I could have just won this a little more cleanly. But as I said, with these lower, like for example, the Thunder stuff, there's a lot of stuff that you kind of have to, play safer than you're playing with a top player, because I know unless it's Storm Zone, you know, I'm probably not going to run into, and that's not like an insult. I know Storm just runs crazy stuff. But unless it's Storm or something, I'm probably not going to face somebody with a Magnerized Thunder Throat Spray Magnezone, right? That Magnezone, I wouldn't say it couldn't beat Ferrothorn, because it's probably like Metal Sound and the special attack boost, and the Thunder probably does a ton to Ferrothorn or something. But it's not as reliable as Body Press, right? But we managed to pull that one out. This team doesn't have as much defensive backbone as the ones before, but I'm trying not to use the exact same team all the way. You know, so trying to give y'all some variation without making it too big of a liability for me as the player, because it's just so much weird stuff on my team that it can't even protect me from these guys in this part of the ladder. So if I'm attempting the Sweet Volcarona, is certainly my go-to guy. My core purpose will be to remove its leftovers, likely with with Ferrothorn, whether it be Zapdos or Heatran. One of them are going to come in my Ferrothorn, and then I just lay up the spikes. I could also potentially sweep him with Finny, but I don't think I need my Choice Scarf to do so, because Zapdos 9 times out of 10 won't be anywhere near as fast. That, or I could also mess him up with Weavile, to depend on if he's unaware. But Volcarona is going to be my go-to guy. Lando guards will against the majority of his team, so I'll get value immediately, unless it's like a Clefable lead or something like that. Excellent, excellent. But we have to analyze every game before we play. If you're newer, then I recommend that you don't worry about that. That's something I find newer players struggle with. They watch me and then they try to mimic what I'm doing, but you know, that's like watching like somebody who really knows some high level of math, but you know, you haven't mastered addition and subtraction, and so it's really just the starting point, which is why I have the playlist down below about where you're supposed to start. Because trying to mimic me, there are just certain things you're just not gonna know, and you can't know until you've learned 1 + 1, if that makes sense. But it's no evidence that you can't do it. It's just that you might be doing it in the wrong order. Threatening team on this one. Woo-wee. I like Lele a lot. I mean, I like Weavile a lot. I just need to find out some information. And Weavile, frankly, could just sweep him by himself. Psychic Turn's a little annoying. Choice Scarf Finny goes in if he lets his guard down, which could be turn 1. Do I want my Choice Scarf? No. I'd rather his Blissey or his Corviknight take it. Do I? I'm gonna knock off Ferrothorn, but I'm gonna probably be knocking off Corviknight's item anyway. Weavile is gonna be my go-to mine. This Polt is a bitch. Polt is a bitch. I'll try to catch it turn 1 if I can. This Polt is a bitch. Yeah, I don't like that. Bye. So it worked. Like I was hoping he would realize people with Polt in particular tend to play 1 or 2 ways. Like, you know, it's just kind of my go-to lead when there's no landers. Let's get U-turn, choice specs, all this fun stuff. Do I want Ferrothorn getting Focus Blast here? Is that something I'm willing to risk? I don't have a choice. Not in this game. I'll have to outplay him afterwards if he specs. That did way too much. Okay, excellent. So Spikes gives me value versus but Heatran. Volk is not my winner, so having that on Heatran isn't as important. Like, knocking off Heatran's item is not as important as this Spike right here. This Spike is going to hamper that Lele, Garchomp, Heatran, and Blissey. Next turn I can go for Rocks, but this time it's not necessary, as this allows for us to go to Finny. I've confirmed Choice Scarf, so if he Magma Storms, he know what's up, and I'll trick here. Unless he has Protect, but yep, perfect. That's what I wanted to trick, not the Corviknight. And so now he's in a position where, okay, are you going to commit to the left? Let me think. If I commit, forced to auto Lele. I'm gonna Calm Mind here to force the Lele to go for the psychic move, because he's gonna teleport. Ooh, homie does not teleport. Homie said no. Okay, I respect it. Which means now Ferrothorn has a lot more value, but I knock. Okay, I know what I must do. So now we're gonna kill the Volcarona counters and sweep. So we're gonna remove this Heatran. No. Let's Leech Seed instead. Because if he stayed in at 9 now, that's pretty shit. Whereas if he goes to Heatran on a Leech Seed, I still have switch-ins that can, well, not really. My my Finny's low enough, but Magma does 22 and he can't KO me. I can see him doubling. But I also need this health so that I can come in on that Lele's psychic, because he saw how much Moonblast did. Can you imagine how much psychic would have done? So please hit. Thank you. I connect. No real double can punish me too heavily. Magma Storms connects. Does Seeds go first? I think it does. Yep. Excellent. And we Hydro Pump here. I knew he was gonna stand. I don't know how. Like, there's a certain feeling, I guess is the best way to put it, where you just know, and players know what I'm talking about. Like, once you get to a point, there is a sort of knowing when you're playing a particular type of player, a certain level of awareness and understanding that you just know he's staying in here. I was gonna say if Chomp is your Weavile counter, but I still was gonna switch out to Landorus there because Weavile is still very important. It's clearly specs. SD on the Blissey, and it's a bloodbath from there, particularly because unless it's a body press Corvette, which most aren't, so you'd be Brave Bird or U-turn, neither of which would kill me. I mean, I'd probably totally kill the Corviknight, but I mean, that's not even how I was planning to sweep him. Once the Chomp came out, I mean, how is he gonna really even beat Ferrothorn comfortably? But yeah, that game came from a few key turns. Finny really disrupted my opponent with the Moonblast and the trick. Like really disrupted the opponent, which is how this type of set is generally used. But as I said, I don't recommend teams like these for beginners. I recommend something more super standard and simple to use, because then you're trying to do two things at once, and you just need to focus on what you can learn in the beginning. That's it. So Landorus guards roll against Zero Aura. His Landorus assists with his Kartana. I'm actually pretty Volk weak myself. Just dawned on me. Yeah, gotta be careful of his Volk. Like, Finny's my Volk counter. That's not reliable. And I'm pretty weak to his Urshifu. Wow. I gotta be careful this game. Zero Aura is well checked though. Kartana fairly well checked. Keep Zapdos at damn near full and Ferrothorn, and I can potentially make it through this game. Ferrothorn is really fucking annoying for him. I'm just debating whether how much value Finny. So what I'll do here is I'm going to Finny. Now, this could be Scarf. This could be I lose a lot of value if I Hydro Pump and he's, but if I guess if I trick his Landers. No, I don't want to trick his Landers. I want to trick his Volcarona. I'm gonna Hydro Pump here. Right, Blissey I figured would come in. This is how the cookie crumble. Man, let's see if he's foolish enough to not teleport. Okay, good play. That was the correct play. I expect Volk. Just the question is, what do you do? Fire Dance immediately, which is the correct decision. Which implies that he's bulkier. I'll trick the Blissey now. And he should teleport here. But positionally, I want to never let Volk in, because I had to trick my Scarf away. I just came to realize, I was like, I'm not keeping my Scarf this game, because his Blissey is always just going to come in. And he made the good play. He knows like not to set up turn one with the Volcarona, because Landorus hasn't been chipped and all that. That Fire Dance damage looks defensive. I also have my own Volcarona, which destroys him now that Blissey is getting hit, right? And so that's something we want to keep in mind as well. So Landorus matches up amazingly versus most of his team from here. I know he's going to teleport, but at worst, I guess the Misty Terrain wears off here. He actually goes to his own Landorus, which implies that he's going to Toxic me. The question is that a fair trade for me, right? Is toxicing his Lando worth mine getting toxicked? And getting up rocks. That depends on whether or not I feel like I'll be able to handle that 0 or afterwards. And then that depends on what I think my solution after this would be. Because what I don't want to do is go to... Well, I don't want to go to... It's actually a really... I wouldn't say tough necessarily, but... like, I'm by no means like in the driver's seat completely. And they switched it out last time. But I don't want him for it to just say, okay, I'm just going to go for rocks and fuck it. And I go to Finny and lose a lot of momentum. It's one of the few things I'll need weekend for Volk though. So I'll talk. Come on, man. Oh, that was exactly what I wanted. The toxic. So that, that's super fucking annoying. Okay, so justice. Oh man, that's such sweet justice, man. Ideally, he doesn't U-turn out. I seem to be faster. Ideally, I catch him here. He U-turns. If I toxic this Lando, like that was the wrap. Like, but the rocks matter. Because I know eventually he's gonna knock my item off with my land. I could have stayed in with my Finny there and like, you know, try to play and blah blah blah. But because like that knockoff was telegraphed. But I'd much rather be in on his landers coming in. And with the rocks up, I can still beat his Volcarona. I mean, I can still beat his landers with my Volcarona. So I just gotta be patient. And I do want his Urshifu. The Urshifu's a bitch though. I gotta be very careful around that thing. Well, not if I knock here. He left the Lando in. So he was gonna sack the Lando. He was gonna sack the landers. I mean, this is lower ladder. What am I saying? Man, he was gonna sack the Lando. I just knocked there to get the most value possible, in case the what's his face came in. So it's obviously Scarf Cart. Just in case the Urshifu came in, I could remove the item. That means my Zapdos walls the Urshifu at that point. But the way this is playing out, with no toxic, him knocking, I don't want my Zapdos' item gone. And it's looking like if his Volk sets up before mine, he'll sweep me. This is a interesting game. I guess I'm gonna go landers here because my item's already gone on. I expect him to knock off. You have to make these plays correctly. Yeah, like, you know, 9 times out of 10 you're knocking there, because you're just expecting the telegraph play, right? Okay, so he's just leaving it in to knock. Okay, how do I get the most value out of this? I could go hard Volcarona and Flamethrower knowing that he'll go hard Blissey, but then he just teleports knowing I'm switching. Could also go to Finny again. Finny has boots. Punish the Blissey. I'll go Ferrothorn here. Do I want this card's item gone? I still want his Volcarona coming in. What's the worst case? Volk coming directly in, right? Yeah, let's lead seed here. Okay, excellent. Not an easy game. Not an easy game. He Quiver Dance is hard. I don't think he has Giga Drain, but if he does, it's bad. It's certainly a Roost. He has to be. Or he has a Giga Drain. The play here is all. Yeah, he's bulky. Yeah, I think I let him set up too much. Which is it. I knew he was gonna. I knew the Volcarona was gonna be an issue. It's just like, how do we play around it, right? And so now he can get a free, because he had +2, so he can get a free hit, and it's not much I can do about that. Yeah, I mean, Volk's a bitch, man. I can't, what can I say? I could have played in a way, I'm sure there were solutions though. I'm sure I could have played in a way where the Volk wasn't gonna sweep. But he did well to play it well, right? And that's what I want to avoid when I pick my teams. But I also have to balance that and not using the same team over and over again, because it's just not easy to use a team that's not weak to something common. And that leaves me playing all over the damn place versus somebody that, you know, it's just 1400. But, you know, a win is a win, and he played the Volk damn well. So, there's nothing to say there. I think Volk here is pretty good as well. I mean, I probably should have focused more on beating him before he beat me in that game, to be honest. Like, the matchup was just not in my favor, particularly for a bulky variant. If he wasn't bulky, then my Finny could have 1v1 him with the lead seed. But at the moment I saw him quiver dance again, I was like, I know he has Roost. Which is why I wanted to keep the trick. But maybe I should have just kept the trick. But you'd always went to... No, I don't know. I'm not sure how to have... but yeah, so yeah, I'll just aim for a Volker runner with this one. We just got to do our best to mitigate the L's. Ferrothorn guards well against Blacephalon, huge issue. Pex. Do I need my Finny scarf? I don't. Okay. Let's put a game plan together here. For us to win, I need to set up versus maybe Mandibuzz. I'm not happy to see Driller. He does go hard picks. Eject button. Interesting. I'm glad that got wasted. I'm obviously on the back foot now with the Lele. I could see him maybe pulling a double switch. If he Focus Blast, I just have to go to Ferrothorn. It is what it is. And then that's the risk you take using Focus Blast. Yeah, that's just what it is. So let's see. Phase 1 hazards. Unless this has Toxic too, because this is going to be my setup fodder. Particularly because he has Psychic Terrain for me. So it commits to Foul Play, which implies Defog next. But, because he's also really weak to my Weavile. I mean, I don't really have an option but to U-turn here. He got the value with the Foul Play. Guess I'll have to force him to give me a mine here. If I Quiver Dance, he'd have to give me what? Blacephalon? That's if he's... Could be Trick, Scarf, Blacef. Well, I guess the most value here. Ferrothorn, knocking, doesn't... let's start killing him on. He actually U-turn. I disagree with that a lot, but works out for me. This is actually something I was training one of my guys on yesterday. Knowing when to use the 3 actions, right? You have the option to attack, defend, and switch each turn. Every player has that option every turn. And so what's really differentiating players is whether or not... I figured he had something. I was like, why would you even go Halucha if I have a whole ass Zapdos? But Heat Wave, maybe Toxic. Toxic, Ferrothorn, Punish. Elorada Lander is here. He's gonna leave this in for some reason. to toxic me. He must have toxic. Otherwise, you know, earthquake grabs value no matter what I go for here. But you'd assume, well, I just set my rocks back up. Maybe his Mandibuzz doesn't have defog. But I'm still playing to the Vulcan game, so he does sack the drill as I thought. To get rocks up, it seems. Still Ferrothorn I go. He should just psychic this time. Cool. And so the question is, are you committed to the Hawlucha? Psychic. If you commit to Hawlucha and I go Weavile. +2 Stonage doesn't kill Zapdos. Because obviously I had the Weavile option here. And I have, well, what I can do is just Leechy. I figured he'd double Psychic, anticipating some kind of shenanigans, predicting his Hawlucha. Leechy, 33%. I can take another. There it is. So basically here, since Zapdos at full, so now he's used his seed. Frustrating, but I know he doesn't have, yes, that stores the answers. I know he doesn't have, come on, man. Give me a fucking break. It's all good, man. You can't control it. You missed the Focus Blast, so as long as you don't crit that one, I'm good. Oh, right. I mean, Zapdos is gonna die anyway, but it just like clicked that he has the Spadef boost. It's been that kind of game for show. And so now we give up. Let me give him Zapdos here. He has to commit to one of them. And depending on if he's Scarf, which I'd assume is the case. Because my Weavile can't do shit to his pecs. Right. Expected. I could see him doubling back to Blacephalon here. I think at this point in the game, like my Ferrothorn is just too obvious, but I lose way too much value if he does that. So what I'm actually gonna do is Finny. Even if he stays in and knocks, so be it, but I can't have him doubling the Blacephalon. And so he commits to T-Spikes, completely irrelevant to this game, and this likely allows for me to trick him. My Choice Scarf as he Toxic Spikes, which means now I don't get a kill, but the game might be over. Tapu Lele coming in to eat the hit. Like T-Spikes don't affect anything but my Finny. Tapu Lele, right? Just debating whether or not because he can't lock himself in the Focus Blast, so he's gonna Psychic, right? And then you invite Weavile back in. But he probably doesn't know that, right? And so I'm curious as to what the Pex has, like if it's just Scald. And I'm curious as to what the Blacephalon set is, because that'll matter. Like that matters a lot. He left. No, I'm faster than him. Yeah, Peck should come in. Okey-doke. Leech Seed. I don't think you ever go. But actually, I could see him going Blacephalon here. He locks himself into knockoff. Cool. Huh. So I'm guessing that's all he has. That's because I'm like, what am I missing here? Because I predict the Blacephalon to come in and knock. Puts me in a really good spot. I think he's aware of that. So I'll power whip here. Power whip kills Lele. Here comes Blasef. I can't switch, obviously. I'll lead sheet on the out chance he doubles out to Pex. He commits to flamethrower again because I'm assuming that it's choice scarf. No, obviously. If he tricks, then he loses to Weavile. So that, okay, I'll commit to that. I'll commit to that. I'll Hydro Pump again on the odd chance he doubles to Blacephalon. Scald. Okay. Good Mandibuzz play there. Trying to get the free switch in on my Volcarona with his Blacephalon. And so his play here is to U-turn. That's actually a really good Mandibuzz play. That's a really good Mandibuzz play. Because I wanted to go Volk that turn. And actually, you know, in hindsight, I should have gone Volk that turn. Skull wouldn't have hurt enough. Or go to... No, I couldn't go Mana. Volk had to be the right turn, and he made the right call. So, yeah, I think it's... I mean, no doubt it's Scarf. The question is whether or not... Oh, wow, I almost clicked. So that might be 2 L's in this. I have to try to knock off on the out chance he's not Scarf. GG. Yeah. I don't think I played that end game the best. I didn't respect the Blacephalon enough. And so what I should have done was gone for broke earlier to force the Blacephalon to even either trick or... But I'll play another one with the team. I should have forced the Blacephalon to either trick. Yeah, that was an easily winnable game. I should have forced the Blacephalon to either trick or murk a lot of his team with the Volt, because the Blacephalon might not have even had trick. So, yep, this is a rough one. So I'll probably have to go to a more bulky, like a team that can round out most threats, because I just simply can't have a style of team where I have to predict a lot just to beat basic stuff. You know, I mean, Finny's my only real fire resist, and so it requires a lot of back and forth. And if the guy is solid, fair enough. It's a little easier to read, but on the lower ladder, I don't know what's going through that guy's head. And so my opponent made some good plays and he made some poor plays, but the end game was really well executed. And so we end up losing another one. Let's see. Another Volcarona though. Yeah, this team is not going to be it. This is what I'm talking about. Well, usually I pick one of these teams in the lives or the roads to where it's just not a good pick. I think maybe in mid ladder this would be a better team, but I can't be getting 6-0 by something as common as Volcarona. That's unacceptable. Let's see what we can do. This could be Sash, could not be Sash, could be Splash, Hydro Pump, wasn't Sash, great. Doesn't prove that I'm Scarf, just proves that I'm fast. So, cool. But yeah, our Blacephalon matchup is horrible. And our Volcarona, I think fire types is what the theme of this is, right? He teleports. Question is what comes next and do I care? and I have quite a few options. Well, what I could do is maybe Zapdos here. Actually, Future Sights. Didn't expect Future Sight. I'll take the damage. I know he's just gonna teleport. It won't do shit. But, right. And my opponents are starting to acknowledge the weaknesses in my team. Or identify, rather. I wouldn't say acknowledge is the right word there. He's super weave all week though. Let me take the Future Sight. Because now I'm pretty sure he's going to just knock out my Landers, right? Man, this is frustrating, man. But you know, it's my own fault. I'm the one who picked the team, right? So I gotta figure out a way to overcome this obstacle. I might have overcome it this turn. Like I might have just swept him here, but I have to find out what kind of Landers it is and what kind of Volk. Please hit. Come on, man. Jesus. I really needed you to connect that. As you can see. That's frustrating. That's a huge miss. You see how low I am now. That's a huge miss, man. That's a fucking huge miss. That's like a game-winning miss. Particularly because now he knows what my Volk is. So I could see him Scald spamming until he burns me, knowing that, okay, well, you know, this probably isn't doing shit. I can't go Ferrothorn. I can't go hard Weavile. I can't go hard Volk. Because if I go hard any of those, his Volk sets up for free. Maybe I can go hard Volcarona. Yeah, I think Volk is my best play. Prevents him from... I didn't expect him to Future Sight, but it prevents him from... because now he just goes to Heatran and there's nothing I can do. Yeah, like, I guess I could pivot to Zapdos here and hope that he allows me to discharge his Heatran down, so that my Weavile can knock him out with +2 knockoff. Excellent. Okay, so he's within +2 knockoff range. That's all I need for him to do now is to go to that Slowking. So I just Hydro Pump for free here. No, I still Calm Mind, right? And now I just go to Weavile and Swords Dance. It's still not over, because I'll have to predict a little bit around his Landers and all that, because I missed. But I just SD here. He's probably gonna try to sack it. Okay, no, he didn't. Okay, so now he goes to Landers Therian. Problem is you can't go to Slowking because I just Swords Dance again. Well, I guess you could get a burn. That would really... No, I can just set up again. No, I can't, because his Lando is at full. So if I knock here and he goes back to Landers... Man, that Earthquake, because he's offensive. I can tell by that Earthquake damage. Well, he might not be. What's his win con? He'd need a Skull Burn. It's either a Skull Burn or... I Pretty sure his Lando can kill my Weavile. I'll Swords Dance again here. You know, it's up to 30%. Thank you. Nice. Okay. So now he goes to Landorus. Still not over, but Triple Axe is so strong that I don't think it's reliable. Like, basically what he could try to do here is go to... No. I could just Ice Shard. That won't work. Could go to Volk. If it's a bulky Volk... Okay, so we managed to pull one back. Yeah, I can't... This is too much of a gamble using this team any further. Nothing that has happened in any... How I like to think of a game is it a... You can usually tell if it's a team issue, which is why, again, I don't recommend you guys, if you're newer, use teams that you built yourself. But if I know what a problem is, meaning like I know at Team Preview Volcarona is the problem, or I know Blacephalon's a problem, and it's really difficult no matter how much... There's one thing, there's not knowing and messing up because you didn't know, which is, you know, the part of the learning thing, which is good, right? But when if you know, and this just goes for any kind of game, if you know that something, you're weak to something, and it's like still a really difficult process to play around that, then the team is super weak to that thing, and if it's common, you need to reconstruct that squad. Like, I'd never ladder with a team like this. But that's just a learning lesson. I can't bring bulk weak teams anymore. I lost 2 games. So yeah, kudos to my opponents. Guys, please drop some squads down below if you're in dire need of some solid squads. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.